Today we're driving the 2021 Kia Rio. This is the 5-door hatchback. It has a 1.6-liter 4-cylinder engine that's mated to a intelligent variable transmission, which is just Kia talk for a CVT. And it makes 120 horsepower, which in a car like this is enough. It only weighs 2,762 pounds. So it's very lightweight. It's very cheap. It starts around $17,000 or just under. This one has the technology package, which is an $1,800 option. It has forward collision avoidance, lane keeping assist, lane following, high beam assist, and a bunch of other features that I'll list in the description. The total price on this car is $20,200. This being a compact car, it's very efficient. It's rated for 33 miles to the gallon in the city and 41 on the highway. And as you can see, this week we've averaged around 40 miles to the gallon. On longer highway trips, that's been as high as 47. Pretty impressive fuel economy from this 1.6 liter. Let's walk you around this Kia Rio, show you what it's like. We'll take it for a drive, and we'll even do a sound system test at the end of this video. The Rio has always been one of my favorite compact cars. I think it just offers nice value. It drives a little bit better than the competition. It's really well priced, and it's just a good example of what Kia has been able to do in the compact car segment. It definitely feels a little bit more old school Kia compared to a lot of their new offerings, but that doesn't mean it's irrelevant or that it's too dated at this point. You do get a spare tire back there, which is nice, coveted option these days. With the rear seats up, there isn't a lot of cargo space back here, but I think this is enough to put most things that you need in. And then with the rear seats down, you actually get a decent amount of space back here. So you can fold these, they fold pretty much flat, and hatchback practicality comes into play. For that reason, I would definitely choose the 5-door hatchback over the sedan. I just think the hatchback looks cooler, drives a little bit better. You do get a little bit more interior room in the hatchback as well. Seated behind myself at 5'10", I am pretty comfortable back here. We do get a USB port to charge our phone, no armrest, and otherwise it's pretty Spartan, but I mean, hey, this is a $20,000 hatchback. We've already talked about engine specs, but I think this is a reasonably good engine for this car. It's not too smooth, it's a little bit loud, but it gets great fuel economy, makes good power, and mated with the CVT, it's a really nice drivetrain. On the inside, we have just about everything we need and nothing extra, no frills. This does have the technology pack, and it has I believe it's an 8 or 9-inch touchscreen. We have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto that are both wireless, a center digital gauge menu with lots of different visualizations for your trip, your fuel economy. You can go in and change a bunch of settings, very similar to the rest of Kia's lineup. This infotainment screen, I think, is pretty well integrated into the dashboard. It's a good size, it's reasonably responsive. You can access Apple CarPlay very quickly, and there aren't a lot of other settings hidden within the menu. That simple and easy to use philosophy translates throughout the rest of this cabin. We have lots of physical buttons and controls for just about everything. We even have a mechanical handbrake. Look at that. None of this electronic nonsense. In that regard, this car definitely feels a little bit more old school. We have physical controls for our climate. We even have an auto climate control button there. We've done a few videos on the Rio in the past. It is definitely one of my favorite cars in this compact car segment. I like the way it looks too. It's kind of short, squat, very European inspired styling. This has the 15-inch wheels. I like that they've got some good chunky sidewall on here. You can tell journalists have been having some fun on this car because we've got quite a bit of sidewall wear there, but that's okay. This is a fun little car to chuck around. Disc front brakes, drum rear brakes. You don't really need much more. Let's take this thing for a drive and see what it's like on the road. I like the action of the shifter. It feels good, nice and positive engagement, nothing funky going on there. One thing I've always liked about Hyundai and Kia's CVTs is that off the line they're very responsive. They're not laggy and sluggish. You can actually, in some cases, spin the front tires a little bit. And made to this 1.6 liter, there's plenty of power. We even have a sport mode That'll bring the revs up a little bit above 2,000 RPM, give you slightly more throttle response. There are some simulated shifts in this car, so we'll listen to those in a minute. Now, most of the time, this car's pretty quiet. When you're hammering it, it sounds like a CVT. You have some shift action there, but for the most part, it doesn't sound too droney. The engine is loud, but it doesn't have an annoying tone to it. I think it sounds pretty good. All of your inputs are light and well calibrated. Steering feels good. Brake pedal is nice and firm. It does definitely need to rev up just a little bit to get up to speed, but it's not too bad. Kind of what you would expect for a car in this class. It is fun to drive. This is a great little chassis. There is a lot of initial understeer, but you feel like you're in something lightweight, a little bit more chuckable. Ride quality is excellent. It soaks up bumps really well, and partially thanks to those 15-inch wheels and tires with actual sidewall. The suspension tuning is really pretty good in this car. For being such a short wheelbase, small, lightweight vehicle, the ride quality is excellent. It's pretty stable at highway speeds. I don't feel like I'm getting tossed around in this thing. I mean, by no means does this Kia Rio represent the pinnacle of luxury. You definitely feel like you're in an economy car here. The plastics are kind of a little bit scratchy and hard. There's no armrest here. You do get a padded center console and armrest, which is nice. But overall, the driving dynamics, the comfort level, the wind noise, the road noise, the way this car drives down the road is one of the best in its class. Now, part of that is thanks to this car not having as much competition as it used to. The Honda Fit, which was probably my favorite car in the compact segment, is no longer for sale brand new. This makes for a great city car. It's efficient. It's got good acceleration between stoplights. I have excellent visibility as well. Let's throw one more corner at it. Mechanical grip levels are pretty low, but if you threw a sticky set of tires on this, you could have some fun in this Kia Rio. It would definitely be a good first autocross car. Oh yeah, lots of complaining from those tires. It gets up to speed just fine. This Rio doesn't have adaptive cruise control, but it does have lane centering. All you have to do is just press this button right here on the highway. You get a little green steering wheel light in the center dash display, and it'll keep you pretty well centered between the lines. It's definitely not as good of a system as what Hyundai has in their products. However, it works, and it does a pretty good job if you need to take your eyes off the road for a few seconds. It doesn't last that long. It's only about 10-15 seconds or so. So, something to note. Easy to turn on and off. Excellent ergonomics throughout this car. Super easy to use. So, how can we sum up the Kia Rio? Well, I think it drives pretty well. It's a little bit noisy. It's a little bit, cheap feeling because it is cheap. But I think compared to a lot of the competitors in this class, it's a pretty nice car to drive. It rides really well. It's comfortable. It's reasonably spacious for its very small size. Could do with a little bit more rear cargo space, but honestly, if you need more rear cargo space, you should probably just get a bigger car. This 1.6 liter engine makes good power. It's very, very fuel efficient. We're getting some surprising fuel economy numbers on it this week. If you get a chance, head on over to the Daily Motor YouTube channel where Charlie does highway fuel economy testing, and he was averaging high 40s with his fuel economy test in this car. Pretty impressive numbers, a lot better than the readout would suggest. In mixed driving all week, we've averaged 40 miles to the gallon according to the readout, which is probably a little bit higher at the pump. There's a lot of things to like about this car. I don't really have too many complaints. I mean, for the price, you kind of can't go wrong. It's a little bit of an underdog, and I think it's fun to drive and fun to live with because it's just cheap, affordable, low cost, A to B transportation. There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually pretty refreshing to get into a car like this that has a mechanical handbrake, an actual shifter, but it still retains a lot of the modern technology that you want. Apple CarPlay, a decent stereo. Speaking of which, let's test that out right now. We'll go into our sound system test playlist. We've got a Spotify link in the description if you guys want to know what tracks these are. Let's have a listen. This is actually a really impressive sound system. To me, this sounds as nice as some of the more premium sound systems in Kia's lineup. In this class, I haven't heard anything that sounds this good. So if you appreciate good in-car audio, this Kia Rio has a really nice sound system. I'm impressed. Alright guys, well that's everything I have to say about the 2021 Kia Rio. Just a mild refresh, a few little tech updates for this car for the 21 model year. Head on over to Winding Road and Daily Motor for more videos on this if you are interested in some other thoughts and just straight up POV driving without any talking. You can follow me on Instagram at TheTopher2. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.